Hello everyone, my name is AP the Weird One, and we are back with The Most Notorious Talker Runs the World's Greatest Clan, Episode 4 review. So last week I went on a little bit of a rampage. I wasn't very happy with the censorship, with both being, and also it was a sexist censorship. I was a little bit sick today. I'm actually a little bit better, although I did get a cold yesterday, so that was painful, not to my liking. But I decided to continue. I'm like, this series isn't that bad. I mean, I've got my issues, which we're going to discuss a little bit of this. There are still some good moments in this episode in particular. So, starting off with, we actually meet Loki, who is our big spy man for Noel. And we also learn of Hugo Capella, who is going to be a future team member for Noel. So we learn a little bit about him. We learn later in the episode. And then following that, we have our introduction song, and of course we have Noel's training routine, which we finally get into, both what he does and also what he did with his grandfather. It was kind of a nice touch. I'm like, all right, though this does lead to a slight problem. They could have just done this a little bit better, but afterwards we get to go back to Noel's apartment. Now Alma shows up. And she's a little bit early. She gets very flirty and attacks him. In the manga, he gives her a bibliography of what he's like, an autobiography for her to read. That's not super important. I guess what they're going for time. But here's the big one. I wasn't exactly super happy with this episode. Hold on. The big one being that when Alma is pinned him down on the ground on the sheets, there's no way for him to get out. He's like, she's very super strong. The anime makes it seem like he does able to get out, but in the manga and both the light novel, Maria, the apartment owner, little girl, daughter, she comes in and she's pissed about it, and that opening is what gives Noel a chance to actually to get rid of her. In the manga, in the light novel, he knocks her out completely, but through a throat chop, or basically punch her in the fist. I think having her there would be a distraction. I would have liked that better, and then he could have just flipped her on the face, what he does. And of course, they go around town. They talk about job class applications. We learn a little bit about things. We go to the armor guy. There is another little minor complaint. So when they go to this skill shop to buy skills, she does buy the equipment. But the thing is, the teddy bear that she buys is way bigger than manga. Like, it's like human size, and I think it's about half their size. Maybe I'll show you in just a sec. Here's the bear. So in the manga, this thing is gigantic. I know it's a little bit ways in the light novel, but she does get a bear. But yeah, the manga has it way huge, like bigger than that, and it's like the price of being 200,000. I think is more fitting it for the size. So there is that. She does, while they do shopping, she does give a little bit more sexual harassment. I'm wondering where his upgrade mark will be. But so after they go shopping, whatever, they're gonna go get some lunch. Noel realizes Loki wants contact with him, and they talk a little bit more about Hugo and his desire. It means definitely gonna be a party member. And after he gets done, he kind of walks away, and he's gonna go to the restaurant where Alma is for lunch. Now, the manga, they actually do communicate, but in here they don't. I think they could have added in there. But the main big shtick is he meets up with Koga. He's on the street. He kind of feels sorry for him because he's from a different country. Asia is established. I think even more periodically Japan. So he gives him a coin, but he gets offended because he's not actually a poor person. He's actually a slave to somebody. So they get in a bit of a scuffle, and Noel's really happy. This guy's got some good skill, someone he wants to add to his party member. But of course, during their duel, the owner comes around. Noel shakes him down. He doesn't actually use confession skill. He just basically threatens him, and he confesses everything, being connected to Albert Gambino. He works for him. Of course, he gets mistaken for his sex 2 times, both by Koga and the man. It's a nice, good exchange. It's kind of nice, good exchange, and it basically ends off right before he decides whether, basically in his gun and mouth, if he wants to shoot him. So that's kind of where it ends. Not necessarily a bad ending. It could have been a little bit longer. There's some stuff that I would like to add, like Marie jumping in, and maybe a little bit of talking, and having the bear just be abnormally big. There's also the mention of a skill that he wants to buy, which is actually going to cost $30 million. In the manga, they have a little bit more detail. Here or there, I could work. I get there basically on a schedule. I thought the episode was good. I think it could have been a little bit better, but I'm happy with the turnout. I do think this, I do think this is a good anime. I don't think it's a perfect anime. I think you'd better off reading the manga or even subsequently the light novel. I'm still here's the thing. I do enjoy the light novel. I do think the manga is a little bit better. The part where they discuss classing up is actually is around the time they get done with the job with the mayor. Like, they start talking about the different skill set, but in the manga it comes later. So I kind of prefer that. It makes sense to be that a little bit later. The manga, the light novel is a little bit more very fast paced with doing the store stuff, and the manga is a little bit more in depth. But hey, that's just me. Maybe you like the light novel better. I'm going to continue seeing this series full. It's not my favorite thing of the year, unfortunately. Ari Ferretta and MF Ghost are good, but this is still a worthwhile series, and I still think you should pick up the series whenever you can. If this comes out on DVD, Blu-ray, I'm not going to pick it up. I probably will double dip and maybe get the manga at some point, because the artwork does look very fantastic. But I'm going to end it here. Hopefully you guys have a wonderful time. I'm getting a little bit better with the sickness and cruddy. But yeah, I now that I've cooled off, I'm like, all right, it's not perfect. It's just me being the very purist in me, who's read the light novel, who's read the manga, and someone who's very passionate about the series. But hopefully you guys have a wonderful day. See you guys next time for episode 6, which should cover quite a bit, actually. I will say, I'll give my thoughts when this series just kind of clicked for me. The light novel was a different story than the manga, and I think that has a lot to do with pacing. But anyway, God bless you all. See you guys next time. I'm rambling on too much.